Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by BlackRifleCoffee.com. Put down the water and grab a fucking drink.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros Sports, kids. Who do we got? We got a special guest in there. Oh, there he is. Clayne Crawford, ladies and gentlemen. Actor Clayne Crawford.
Thank you for having me.
I had to, by the way. I was forced to by the listeners.
Oh.
I get killed all the time religiously for being an Ohio State homer. I'm not even gonna shy away from it. It's an original hat from the 70s for those of you watching the video
corduroy?
show. Oh yeah. Corduroy. It's nice. It's nice is what it is. And everybody's like, man, roll Tide. And I was like, look, to prove that I'm not a fucking homer all the time, I will get the biggest Alabama Crimson Tide fan on the show that I know, which is you.
Personally, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you have stopped I don't want to say movies. You've stopped a movie, you've stopped you've requested schedule changes of like, hey man, the game is on. Can we be wrapped by 7? Because West Coast, some of those games start early, where it's just
yeah. I mean, you can wake up and have breakfast with the Tide on the West Coast.
Yeah.
That's those when we're playing the Citadel. We'll have that 9 a.m. game.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned the Citadel. You got 3 Division 2 schools on your schedule this year.
Does Ohio State not play cupcakes?
No, we stopped, and because I think there was too much heat from it. We used to back in the day.
It also could be because of the division you guys are in, just the teams that you guys play on a reg, right? I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, when you play the Purdues, the Northwesterns,
right. Here's what I would say. I believe there's 4 teams in the top 12 from the Big Ten. I don't want to brag about that. No, but I think 5, including I think Michigan.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Wisconsin's in there, right?
A lot of people have that's their sleeper team to go to the playoffs and upset Ohio State this year. A lot of people are jumping on this Wisconsin bandwagon, and I get it, man.
If Michigan can't figure it out, I would imagine that Harbaugh has got to get that resume out, right? There's just, I mean, the antics, and you got to win. I mean, has he beat Ohio State? No, he's 0-4, correct?
He's 0-3. Not only never beaten Ohio State, including Ohio State and his Michigan State record, which is their other big rival. He's 1-5. I mean, he's only won 1 game in 6.
Yeah.
Ohio State, I believe this will be his 4th year, and so he's 0-3 against us. They haven't beat us in 7 years at this point. I don't even know if it's a rivalry anymore.
It's kind of like the LSU deal.
Yeah.
It's no longer the game of the century.
Weird. Yeah. It's weird, right? Because usually
you bring in Coach O, and that's gonna.
Yeah, usually a big game like that, you're like, all right, cool. We're still noon. Like the Michigan Ohio State game is still at noon this year, where it's just like, fuck. So the way we're treating this, kids, because it's opening week, college football season, we're treating this like game day. Treating it like game day. Tomorrow night is the opening game, and how we're doing this year is we're running down the spreads because obviously mybookie.com is our sponsor for the entire year, so you can bet with us. Any deposit you make between $40 and $4,000, they will automatically double it. That is not a lie. Everybody keeps going on there like, holy shit. I put in $2,000 and they gave me another $2,000 to bet with. That's the deal. It's exclusive for Drinkin Bros listeners. And we'll be betting the games. We're talking about the spreads every single week, but only the top 25. I'm not doing your fucking bullshit teams like Ball State. I'm not going through those spreads. I'm not doing it. You wanna play in the big boy leagues. You'll have a spread in the top 25. Make the fucking top 25.
Dude, some people want to know if the Aztecs are going to pull it off.
God.
That last game of the night.
We get that all the time, by the way. I'm not kidding. Of like, hey, man, somebody wrote me 2 days ago and was like, man, I don't understand why you're not talking about Utah more. What? I would if Urban Meyer was still coaching there fucking 10 years ago, but not anymore. Not anymore.
Utah.
Yeah.
The mighty Utes.
We'll start off with the mighty Crimson Tide. They are number 1. They came in preseason number 1 coaches poll and AP. Quarterback controversy. A little bit. Jalen and Tua, who you got as an insider? Who do the fans want, first of all?
I mean, here's the thing. I think if you are a real Alabama fan, last season, a couple of games by halftime, we were up 40 points.
Yeah.
So Tua would come in to start off the third quarter. I'm that fan that watches till the very last minute. I want to see the future of the program. We watched, as a fan base, Tua just put it on a dime, and again, I take it all the way back to the A-Day game last season. The second string, and I think Kirk Herbstreit said it on the sidelines with Saban. He said, your second string could be ranked in the top 5 in the country. And he was like, I know, there's really talented kids. And we saw that in the national championship game. We saw these young guys come in. Now, granted, people can say,
Did we?
What was that?
Did we see that? I have a theory on this game, and I'll let you finish.
I want to hear your theory.
I'll let you finish, but I have a theory after that.
I think Tua he does not have the speed. I don't think he's as strong of a runner. Is Jalen, obviously. But his accuracy, man, and the guy's got ice water running through his veins. So I would think Tua's our starter.
Has it been announced yet? Because I haven't heard anything.
He doesn't do that. He's
like fucking Belichick, where it's just
100% like Belichick. I mean, I think he kind of structures his. It's certainly when dealing with the press. I mean, those guys mirror one another.
Yeah, and it saddens me to say both of these things I'm about to say, but I'll say it. Belichick is the greatest. I think he's the greatest coach in NFL history. We were at the Super Bowl together when he beat my beloved Falcons 28-3. Came back and that whole fucking debacle, and I was like, as much as I hate the Patriots and I was angry about that game, you can't deny their excellence. He's the greatest coach there is. Same with, and this is going to pain me even more. Same with last year's win. I would have said Urban Meyer is the greatest coach in college football, and then Saban won last year, dumping all freshmen in the second half. And I was like, you can't deny that Saban's the greatest coach in college football right now.
And I think it goes back to
maybe
Belichick.
History.
Well,
is there? I mean, you could say Bear Bryant, but you're not
if
facing
you say
the
that
type of competition that you were.
But Bear Bryant was taking 5-star athletes and setting them on the bench so that no one else could have them.
Yeah.
The game is so different. For Saban to be doing what he's doing nowadays, I think it outweighs anything.
That's what I think too. Because you look at those old school guys, and not that they're not great. And
they are
worthy,
great. Yeah.
But you're competing now against 300 colleges, each and every one of them trying to tug on these athletes. And it's like, you didn't have that many universities back in the day. You didn't have a schedule like that back in the day.
Well, definitely they didn't have the airtime, right? You had a couple of games that were on television. I think that's why Notre Dame always had such great squads. Michigan always had a great squad, Ohio State, some of the bigger programs. But now, they've got the Thursday night games, the Friday night games, so kids know that they're going to get their airtime. And I think that's really what these kids going to college. They're just trying to get seen, and get tape and get in the NFL. So I definitely think it's more competitive. And I think it's more difficult to have consistency. And Saban, with the amount of coaches that he goes through and the athletes.
The turnover there is hard. And look, I know it from the Ohio State front. And again, because I watch the games the same way as you do. All the way through, doesn't matter, bench, starters, I don't give a fuck. I watch it till the last second of the game because I want to see the future as well. And I can tell you, after we won that national championship 4 years ago, we lost our offensive coordinator, Tom Herman, who went to Texas. And it was a massive change for that team. And I thought we had the same team the following year, and we looked like shit. We still got far, and I believe we made it to the playoffs, but it didn't have that offensive spark because it's the same way at Ohio State where the coaching staff has so much turnover. It's hard to reboot and get those guys ready to go again. Saban's able to do that. I mean, there's a new goddamn offensive or defensive coordinator every single year at Alabama.
Jalen hasn't had one guy for multiple seasons. He's had a new offensive coordinator. I mean, you think about it, this would be his third year. He's gone through 4 if you count Sark.
Wow.
So how is that kid able to find any kind of consistency with his passing game?
Yeah.
I mean, I think what he and Kiffin were able to do, because he performed at his highest level when Kiffin was on the
dirty
sideline.
Ass Kiffin. I love him. I love him. I heard he was banging Saban's daughter. That rumor's been going around for a long time. Look, I don't know if it's true or not.
As a guy who's gone through bullshit media, it's hard for me to believe anything anymore. So,
I want to believe it's true. I blast you with those pictures of Kiffin with those sunglasses like this, tipped down. all the time where I'm just like, yeah.
He's so nasty.
Yeah.
So
Dirtbag.
dirty,
It's a
man.
fucking dirtbag. So who do you got at QB this year? Who do you want?
Look, it's hard to take out a kid that's only lost 2 games. I get that. But I think we have, to utilize the talents that we have on the field, I think we need Tua behind center.
There we go. Me personally, I think I'm with you on the other side of this, where it's hard to take out a kid who's only lost 2 games.
It's really, I don't know how Saban did.
I say you right. Me personally, like, because Jalen Hurts to me is a fucking leader. The way he conducts himself is like a fucking champion. He had a real bad national title game, but I think he can rebound.
His last 4 games are really rough. I mean, we struggled, and granted,
that's right. That Auburn game,
the Mississippi State game,
yeah.
We struggled in that game until the very end. And again, it took a freshman catching a pass in the end zone, right? So, and I think it was Smitty that caught that pass. Look, the kid's extremely talented, and that's for Alabama fans. We've always been searching for a great quarterback. We've had some rough ones, outside of AJ McCarron, but.
Well, look, I'll say this: Vegas wise, mybookie.com wise, they have currently right now the favorite for the Heisman Trophy. If you're going to bet on the Heisman Trophy, which those odds are out, number 1 favored to win the Heisman Trophy is Tua, and they haven't even announced the starter. Yeah, Bryce Love is second. I picked Bryce Love to win the Heisman this year.
I would say Bryce Love as well.
But look, they must know something we don't. Vegas is rarely wrong. So
that's crazy. I mean, look, again, I know everyone keeps saying in the sports outlets, the media, they continue to say, how can you gauge this kid's career over a 30-minute performance? And it's just, that's not the case. I mean, this guy has just been lighting it up all season long. And I know it was cleanup duty, but still, these kids going into the third quarter, I promise you, Vanderbilt or whoever, we were playing, I just know Vanderbilt because we're up by 40 going into halftime. These kids are going out there they don't want this kid to score any more touchdowns on them.
Right.
And I mean, he was just dropping dimes.
Look, he looked okay to me in the national championship. If you go back and watch that game, here's my theory, by the way, that I really wanted to get to with you. I think Saban was getting beat so bad at halftime, he wanted to get those freshman kids experience. And I don't think that they were. I don't think they were. I don't think that was ready to win. And if you look at 2 of his. One touchdown in particular, he was thrown to a different receiver.
The one touchdown,
somebody undercut it
when it was 4th and 4. It looked like it was 4th and 4, and it was the final touchdown, I think, that tied up the game. Is what you're talking about, and I get that. And I've heard people say this, but what it
how
looked
about
like
the look away pass where he's about to get drilled, throws it, and he wasn't even looking downfield, and it was like a 70-yard bomb on that thing, and I'm like. Was he going there, or was he just out of options at that point?
It looked like the pass you're saying I think he was trying to hit Najee Harris in the end zone, and Najee got knocked down, and I think the one Calvin Ridley jumped in front of, and you could even see Calvin. He knew that he wasn't going to him. It's almost like the ball just hit him in the breadbasket. 4th and 4. I mean, look, that drive where he hit Ruggs, I think 3 times going down the field, and he hit Ruggs in the end zone, to finally get us on the board. Come on, man.
Oof.
Come on, bro.
For me personally, so
looking that safety off at the end of the game when he just got sacked for 20 yards.
I don't. I mean, there was a lot of like 2nd and 30, and the guy was completing it. To me, that game felt like a spring game. I don't want to see not only 2 people from the SEC. I don't want to see 2 Big Ten teams play each other. I don't want there to be 2 teams from the same conference in any of this shit. Like it felt like.
But that's why they designed the playoffs. After Alabama played LSU.
Yes.
They said, we're never going to do it. So that's why and it happened.
And they did. Why? Because I don't think Alabama, by the way, should have gotten in either.
SEC.
And whoa, here's the thing. And you're going to say, oh, you think Ohio State should have gone in because we were 5? No. I would have given it to that UCF school, to be honest with you.
You're out of your mind.
They destroyed Auburn, and Auburn
was going into a game that they had
down the pants of Alabama.
Auburn thought for sure they were going to be playing for the national title. You put 18, 19-year-old kids against UCF in the fucking Peach Bowl.
Hey, bud.
I'm just saying, you can't gauge that performance. You can't gauge that performance. And look, I think Frost is a great coach, and I think he's going to do wonders at Nebraska. But there is no way UCF in that with the
there is a national
Oklahoma would have beat them.
championship.
Oklahoma would have beat UCF.
There is a national championship banner hanging in UCF. There was a parade.
I get it. I get it. And look, if those kids had to go through the gauntlet of the SEC or the Big 12 or whatever,
the Big 10, yeah,
the Big
it's tough.
10,
It's tough. I don't know. I would have liked to see them getting in. I think that they should definitely expand to 8, 6 or 8, and then give the Power 5 conferences and then an independent school like this. Make it 6 at least.
I would like if there was more teams, obviously. I mean, that's why we love March Madness.
Yeah.
Everyone's got an opportunity.
Everybody. So I think 8 tops, never any more than that. Jesus Christ. But
I mean, no more than 8, but I mean, look, I'm never gonna shy away from more football.
Me neither. Yeah. Who do you got winning the national championship before we get into these odds? Is it Bama this year?
I mean, we had 11 guys sign NFL contracts off our defense alone.
Yeah.
I think our biggest question is the secondary. A lot of young kids. I think the linebackers in the front 4 are going to be just as strong as they always have been. It's more of a just kind of plug and play. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd love to say that Alabama. I think it's easier to pick the top 4, and I lean towards ESPN that I think it's Clemson, Alabama, Washington, and it's either Ohio State or Michigan. I think.
I don't think Michigan's going to make it. My sleeper would be Wisconsin. If anybody was going to take out Ohio State, it'd be them. And then look, if anybody's going to knock out Alabama, I think it might be because there is some people that are picking Georgia here and there. I think it might be Auburn. But Georgia, it depends on how well they play that opener.
You can't take away from Fromm. I mean, that kid's unbelievable. And Swift comes back, and they've lost a lot of guys on defense, but that offense is still pretty stacked. And Fromm, man, that kid. What a great! I think that's the most impressive thing to take away from last season is how many freshmen contributed.
Oh yeah, and if you watch that documentary on Netflix, QB1, watching that kid in high school, he's just different than everybody else, man.
He's just different than everybody else.
He's just a fucking leader, that kid. Yeah. So you can see it, as they're coming up, and I thought it was interesting to see because, usually kids are kids and you're in high school, whatever. The Fromm kid was just so poised and he had not a care in the world.
Nothing.
Whereas the other kid at Ohio State, who's the backup quarterback, because he lost out to Haskins this year. In that documentary, that Tate Martell, it was just like, kind of seemed like Paul Walker from Varsity Blues, where he was already a little too cool, where it was just like, hey, bro.
You mean James Vanderbeek?
Yeah. Well, Vanderbeek took over. Paul Walker was the starter, and then Vanderbeek.
Was he really?
Oh yeah, remember Paul Walker breaks his leg. Ali Larder comes in with a whipped cream bikini, and then dude, it was Paul Walker. R.I.P. Paul Walker.
R.I.P.
When I see you again, let's run through the top 25, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night.
Who do we got?
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Thursday nights. The defending national champions, UCF. I can't even pronounce their fucking name with a straight face. UCF is number 21. They're playing UConn. Spread is 23.5. Who you got in that?
I think it's a flip of a coin, but I'll take UCF.
Look, they're national title holders.
I mean, UConn's a women's basketball.
You got let's face it, they don't have much of a school. I'm surprised that spread isn't higher, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But we'll see. There's a Friday night game, which is sexy. They added that a couple years ago on ESPN, and sometimes it's magic, man. I remember last year's. It was Syracuse that beat Clemson on that Friday night, and it was just
what's great is because those kids know that everyone's watching that game.
Yeah,
because it's the only game in town, right?
Only thing going on.
Every bar's got it on, and I think they play their hearts out. I agree with you. Those Friday night games they're interesting.
So who do we got this Friday? Clemson was sleeping. We got Michigan State against Utah State. Another spread that's 23.5. Michigan State's got a great team this year, and that's at home. I've got Michigan State in that one.
I'll take Michigan State as well.
Yeah,
that quarterback, he could be the truth.
And then we got a double header on this motherfucker. Look at this, dude. There's 3 games on Friday night that are ranked teams. Wisconsin versus Western Kentucky. 37.5 in that game.
The Hilltoppers.
37.5. That's a lot of points.
I thought you guys didn't play any. So other teams play cupcakes.
Here's the
And I know the Hilltoppers have had a pretty good program.
Yeah. And like, I know you're an Alabama fan. I have to follow all this shit because I have to. But Wisconsin's schedule is as terrible as Alabama's this year. So that's why people are like, look, I think they have one hard game on the road, and it's at Penn State. The rest of it is all bullshit teams like this.
That'll be a great game.
So they could steamroll into the Big Ten title game like that, and if they win, they're in the fucking playoffs. That's it. They have a terrible schedule. So this Western Kentucky game, it's easily Wisconsin, and I think they'll beat a 37.5 spread on a Friday night at Camp Randall. If you've never been to Camp Randall Stadium,
God, that's a lot of points.
Holy shit, it is chaos there. They play jump around. That student section goes ballistic. Great place to party. Great people in Wisconsin, man. That place will be going off. I say they covered that 37.5. It's a big spread.
It's a big spread.
Especially the over-under in that is only 52.5. So that means,
I don't think they'll cover. That's a lot of points. Wisconsin just doesn't throw up points.
It's Western Kentucky. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that, actually. I'm going to go that. And then the last game on Friday night, another ranked team, Stanford, San Diego State. This one's a closer. This is a closer game. This is 14.5. Because San Diego State, for whatever reason, has been able to put great talent on the field for a lot of years. There's a lot of great California,
a lot of athletes,
football players that don't get a lot of love because they're on the West Coast. Yeah. Nobody sees them. Nobody sees these guys play. But like, I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson and those guys. Yeah.
Well, also they also pick from they take a lot of athletes out of Hawaii as well.
Yeah. So we got 14.5 on Stanford. I think Stanford covers that, but barely. Covers. I want to say 17 or 18.
Stanford could be a sleeper though, man. Those guys got a lot of great athletes.
A lot of great talent there.
Yeah.
Then we got the Saturday games. Whew. So I don't know if I told you this. But again, at mybookie.com, they have allowed me to be the bank for Ohio State this year. And I agreed to this before the Urban Meyer scandal even broke. And I said, as it was going on, they were like, look, do you want to still continue with this? And I go, yeah, our fucking team's loaded. I don't give a shit. Like, roll up. I don't give a fuck who the coach is. You can put Stevie out there, 74 right, 74 right. Do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. That still holds true. Urban suspended the first 3 games. So I got the bank on this. Everybody at home who bets against Ohio State bets against me. It is a big boy spread coming out of here against Oregon State. 39. 39. My prediction on this game was 45-0. It's cutting it close. It is cutting it close. Because look, you put the second team in second half and all that shit. A field goal or a touchdown is going to get in there. This is going to be tight, but I say Ohio State covers this. Well, I don't have a choice anyways because I'm the bank, so it doesn't really matter anyways. What do you got here? 39 for Ohio State. It's a noon game, opening game in Columbus.
With the caliber of talent you guys have, I find it hard to believe that any of this controversy, this BS that's kind of been surrounding Urban Meyer is going to affect those kids or that night. So that's a lot of points.
37 is a lot of points, isn't it?
But you know what? The game has changed so much. Like, people points weren't thrown up the way. I mean, Spurrier was throwing them up down in Florida back in the day, but he was really the only one. Like nowadays, the way people score. So yeah,
I mean, look. Tech, you take a team like Texas Tech, who's dropping 60 every week. I watch like those Oklahoma games, those Oklahoma State games. Those guys are 62, 57 games where you're just like, is this a fucking basketball game?
Yeah, no defense.
Ohio State's got a new offensive coordinator. They got a NFL pro style system in here. I think they cover, but come at me, bro. Come the fuck at me and find out if you want to.
I'll say they cover.
All right.
Yeah. I think the only game that day that's worth watching is that Auburn. Washington
there's a couple of them. We'll get to them. Oklahoma against Florida Atlantic. Spreads only 21 in this one. They got that kid who's the quarterback who got drafted by the majors, signed a $4 million deal with the Oakland A's. He just got named their starter.
Right.
And you know, according to Baker Mayfield is predicting that this kid breaks every Oklahoma record this year, single season. That's how great he is. But
didn't the kid say he wants to play baseball?
Yeah, I know. He said he was coming back to play football.
1 year of football, and then he's going to go play.
And then
baseball.
he's going to go play in the majors.
Don't you find it?
I couldn't mentally.
It's a physical game, and it's a physical game.
Like, wouldn't you be worried?
Wouldn't you be worried about your health?
I wouldn't fucking play.
There's no way.
No way. I told the audience a couple weeks ago. I was like, dude, you remember Chris Winkie for FSU? He was starting quarterback at 28 years old. He signed a big fat major league contract. Dwindled in the majors, whatever, but he had his millions and then went back and played. Not only did he go back and play, imagine being a starting quarterback at Florida State at 28 years old, knowing at 28 what you know now, and you're in college, the ass that he was just mowing down left and right. That's a fucking dream. This kid should do the exact same thing, but he's not. It's just waste.
Look, as long as Lincoln Riley's got that whistle around his neck, those guys are going to be putting up points. It doesn't matter who's a quarterback. So yeah, I think they cover that easy. You know?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I got Oklahoma by 28 in this game for sure. Next up, we got TCU versus Southern. If you're asking why there's no spread in this game,
because nobody cares.
No, they don't give spreads for Division II schools. Get the fuck off my lawn, TCU, with this stupid shit. You gotta be fucking kidding. Southern what? It's just Southern, by the way.
Just Southern.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all. That's all. You might as well play University of Phoenix online. Fly Eagles fly. Fucking cocksuckers. I'll see you week 3. I'll be at that game in Jerry World. Week 3, Ohio State.
Oh
TCU.
yeah, you guys have got the Horned Frogs down there.
Yeah, at Jerry World. So like, I will be there. I will be on the fucking field for that game. You can.
They should have named that stadium the Crimson Tide Stadium. We literally
win
played,
every year.
We
there.
could not play more.
It's our first year playing there, so I'm amped. I've never been there.
It's gorgeous.
We're heading out there, so I'm excited about it. Next game, we got Texas at Maryland. Texas is coming in at number 23 this year. The spread is only 13.5. And I'll say this, man. Tom Herman is on the hot seat, I think, in Texas. Like, Texas does not allow losing teams losing coaches very much leeway. Strong was out of there in what, 3 years?
I don't think they like Strong. I don't think Strong played enough good old boy politics. You know what I mean? I don't think he had the personality to kind of navigate that alum. And I think the program was in such a shit show. You know, my sister-in-law, her husband coaches for the basketball program down there, and I think he's got at least 2 more years. But fuck, they've got to get that deep. Take the offensive side and what they need to do in the quarterback position, but that defense is so fucking weak. Those kids can't even wrap up.
No,
you know,
it's strange to see, man, because all through growing up, Texas has been a powerhouse, man.
Until Bama beat them, and that was it. They really haven't recovered since that.
No.
Night.
And you got McConaughey, you got all the sexy ladies
you got
of Austin, Texas.
Like the star power.
I like when Texas has a good football team. So don't think out there that I'm shitting on Texas. I lived there for 3 months on campus. We shot the fucking new guy.
Oh, that's right.
Greatest singular time of my life, party wise, where it was just like 6th Street, the whole thing, hottest women in America, all that shit. But when you have a bad football team, it's just.
But we saw that this year in recruiting, didn't we? Once they had a coach that people they feel like they can get behind.
Yeah.
There's so much talent in that state, and how do you not go to Austin?
Boy,
that's one of the prettiest cities in the country.
I know.
Yeah.
So look, it's 13.5
against the Terps,
and it's at Maryland. I don't know. Maryland's a sneaky good team, man.
Maryland will sneak up on you. They will ruin your night. I don't know, man. I'm
gonna go with an upset here. I'm gonna say Maryland plus these points on this one. Really? That's my guts. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Texas just because I feel like they've got to get it back to you. I think they've got the talent and they've got to put some pieces together.
It is a noon game at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Enjoy it, Fighting Turtles.
Get some.
Next up, we got Clemson Furman. No spread because you're playing fucking Furman, dude. Come on, Clemson. That's another program with a weak schedule this year. I mean, I think they've got Miami. That's about it on that fucking schedule, dude. Clemson's going to steamroll into the playoffs. I believe. I actually, you weren't here, but I actually picked Clemson to win the title this year.
Win the national championship.
Yeah.
Dabo's incredible, man.
He's incredible. That defense is the craziest defense of all time this year. So it doesn't even matter how great their offense is. I don't know how you get through that fucking defense. So next up, we got Austin P. Love those guys. Love all their work playing Georgia. Fuck off, Georgia. No spread for Austin P. There's no spread for that game. Georgia steamrolls them. They're ranked 3rd this year. I haven't heard that they've definitely named Fromm the starter, though, because they got that other superstar kid, that Justin Fields, that came in, who was number 1. And rumor has it he's been lights out in spring. I find it odd you don't name a starter this close to the season, but
I think Kirby kind of follows the same suit as Saban, plays it all close to the vest. There's no need for you to know. And why give your first team that you play in the season an opportunity to game plan?
Well, it's Austin P. You could pretty much give them your entire playbook.
I didn't take in consideration.
Your cheerleaders, you can give them dorms. You can feed
just give them the playbook.
Yeah, you can give them the dog. You can give them the goddamn bulldog and let them run around with it.
Run in the waggle sweep to the left.
The 3:30 game. Now this is the big one. I'm surprised this isn't the night game, but it's not. This is Washington, number 6 against Auburn. And it's by the way, I didn't know this was in Atlanta.
Kickoff classic.
Shit. Why is this on at 3:30?
We were at that game last year.
I know. And it was the night game, remember?
At Alabama, Florida State.
Yeah, it was the night game, and it was great. Why is this not the fucking... How is this not the night game?
How is Alabama playing Louisville? Because that's the night game, right? That's the ABC...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't... And what's the spread on that?
If Lamar Jackson doesn't leave, that is the night game. So, like, I personally thought Lamar Jackson should have stayed an extra year, so maybe they were banking on that before. I don't know, but this is weird. Auburn's a 1.5 point favorite in this game. I've got Auburn in this one.
You're taking Auburn in this one.
I am.
Stidham is a great quarterback.
So I'm going to take Auburn, and it simply because, look, that drive for their fans is about 1:45 over there, hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That's why there's
as many Bulldog fans in the state of Georgia as there is Auburn Tiger fans.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, they're going to load up 30-pack of Busch Lights.
Oh, buddy. I was at that Alabama-Washington game a couple of years ago, that playoff game, and there was just those. That's a long flight. It's expensive for them to come all the way down, and they're like, we're just going to wait for the national championships. Like, ugh.
Yeah. So who you got in this one? You think Auburn or Washington? 1.5 is.
I'm going to take Washington.
All right. I like it.
Take Washington.
I like it. Look, I have Washington in the playoffs, but I have them losing this game and then winning out the rest of the year. But
if they lose this game, how in the world would they even make the playoffs, you think?
Because they've got that conference. They still got to play Stanford. They're going to have to play a few hard teams. And then Auburn, let's face it, look, they got Alabama. They got the SEC championship. Auburn's got one of the hardest schedules this year there is. So, like, they've got a tough road ahead. And then, look, Ohio State or Penn State, one of them is canceled out. Michigan's canceled out. So we're all in the same division. We play Wisconsin and the things. One of those teams is going to get canceled out. I don't think 2 SEC teams make it. So somebody's coming in from this conference. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I definitely don't think 2 SEC teams make it this year.
Next up, we got Appalachian State versus Penn State. I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for App State.
For that Michigan game.
Michigan.
Yeah, my daughter's good friend plays offensive line for App State.
23.5 is that spread. 3:30, Beaver Stadium.
I got to say Penn State's going to be able
to cover that. Yeah, I got Penn State covering that. McSorley's a great quarterback. That kid's tough as nails. Next up, we got West Virginia, Tennessee. West Virginia is at -10. Tennessee is another one of those programs like Texas where they haven't been good in a while, but it's good for college football when they are good because taking your boat down the river to go see those games. You've been to a game there?
But that stadium
incredible,
is
man.
just incredible. Yeah.
I mean, it's loud as fuck. I went to a Tennessee-Georgia game years ago, and it was electric. It was the year they won the national championship. T. Martin was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They haven't been good since. They haven't been good since.
The fact that Peyton couldn't win one while he was there, and then T. Martin slides in the next year
is crazy to me. Crazy to me. So with 10, this game is in Charlotte for some reason. Doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to say Tennessee's going to be able to. I think Pruitt's going to be able to get that team turned around. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it this first year, obviously. But I think he's a smart guy. And I mean, Lord, who knows, right?
I'll take West Virginia in this one. The over-under, though, is 61.5. So they're expecting some fucking points on the board.
Who's quarterback for Tennessee?
That day. It's a great question. They're not ranked. Tennessee is not ranked at all this year.
I'm sure. I mean,
so I it was that God, I forget who the kid's name was last year, and he was okay. I don't know what happened to. I don't know why they're not ranked. I don't know enough about Tennessee. They haven't been good in so long that no one talks about.
But if you
anymore.
look at Tennessee, and I think this was last season that they lost every game within around 4 or 5 points. It was really close.
Yes,
they were right there.
Yeah, and to come in unranked like this, like I don't know.
Again,
West
I don't think
Virginia's
they were
always
ranked
got that
last year.
fucking option. They've always got a running quarterback.
Yeah, and they got a great little quarterback this year.
And I've partied at West Virginia as well. Different kind of partying than Tennessee, but still fun. Still fun every time. I think West Virginia wins. I don't think they cover that 10-point spread. That's where I'll go with that.
Okay.
The 4:00 game, USC UNLV. USC is number 15. They're favored by 26.5 points.
No way.
That's a lot of points to me. I think USC wins, but I think UNLV covers that spread. The 6:00 game is Boise State against Troy. You know my motto: always bet on Boise. It is like fucking Wesley Snipes in a movie. Always bet on black. You always bet on Boise. Boise covers, man. It's 10.5. They're playing Troy. Troy's always a tough out, by the way, and it is in Troy.
Oh, it is in Troy.
Yeah. Have you been to that stadium?
I have been to that stadium, and that could go either way. Troy's a great look. If you got to go to, is that a
Troy
night game?
Beat LSU?
Yes.
Yeah.
In LSU,
It's a 6:00.
They went
game.
to Death Valley and beat LSU that.
So it's a 6:00 game. The kids will be partying, fired up. That's a tough call. I'm still gonna. I never bet against Boise.
What was the line?
10.5.
Well, I'd like to see Troy win.
Well, there's a lot of things we'd like to see happen, but will they?
I don't know if Boise will cover that spread.
10.5. All right.
Yeah.
You're going with Troy.
I'm gonna go with Troy.
You heard it first.
Go with
That
Troy.
Clayne Crawford. He's going with Troy.
That's an Alabama team. You know what else, man?
Now we're getting to the 7:30 game. I always have a hard time with Notre Dame, let alone they're playing Michigan. I hate the fact that Notre Dame has been televised on NBC every single game for our entire life, essentially 35 years.
Is it NBC or ABC?
Somewhere in there. NBC. So they've had this contract with NBC forever because it's God's team.
It is, right?
And to me, that has been the most unfair recruiting tool ever. They're the only team that had a national contract. So these fucking coaches from Notre Dame have been able to go around to kids all over the country, Hawaii, Alaska, and say, hey, I know you can't travel. You might be poor. You might not be able to come to the games. You don't have to. Every game is televised on NBC every Saturday.
You might be poor. You might have no means to do anything fun, but you can watch it on television. You have a television.
Yeah. I watched a Notre Dame game from jail once, and I was just like, it's NBC, right? It's still on. Yeah.
It's on.
This is a 1-point spread. This is at Notre Dame, Michigan. Look, to fill you in on what has transpired over the last couple weeks here on Drinkin' Bros Sports Companion Show. I said this is Harbaugh's last year. He's done, and I think Notre Dame wins this game. I've already put money on this game. I have Notre Dame beating Michigan. Michigan just announced their starting quarterback yesterday.
Is that the Patterson kid?
Yes, it's going to be Shea Patterson, that kid from Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah.
So you've seen him play.
Yep.
So I don't know how good or not good he is. He seemed pretty decent at Ole Miss. My question to you is this: how do you jump into a new system within 4 months, relatively, and then you're the starting quarterback, and your first game is the night game on NBC against Notre Dame? That stadium's going to be fired up.
I love that it's the college football, because game day is going to be at that game, right?
Either that game or the Washington Auburn game.
No, I think it's the Michigan game.
Is it?
Yeah. I know that Patterson. That's the kind of quarterback that Harbaugh wants in his system. And I don't think Harbaugh's had. I know Harbaugh hasn't had that since he's been at Michigan. It's Patterson. Look, I guess I continue to feel like Michigan's got a chance because he just doesn't have an option. Right. The guy's going to be done.
Yeah.
He's going to be done.
He's gone. He's going to be buying some underpants and some khakis at your local Walmart near you soon.
Tucking it in.
So, look, he's got to go for broke this year. I actually think my prediction was that he actually ends up coaching the Indianapolis Colts next year. I think he gets fired. I think he has a shitty year at Michigan. I think he walks out of there with his tail between his legs like a fucking bitch. I wish he would stay, by the way.
And it's been great. It's been beautiful for you. And then fails upward and goes to Indianapolis.
And goes back to coaching NFL again. Because, look, as much as I hate Jim Harbaugh, he was a great coach for the 49ers. I mean, they were seconds away from winning a Super Bowl with him.
I don't see him and Luck being a good fit.
I think he was his, if I'm not mistaken, his quarterback at Stanford.
He was at Stanford, yeah.
So
you're right.
To me,
seems like they would have a personality. You know what? Harbaugh didn't seem like
they're both fucking weirdos, though.
Yeah, Harbaugh just didn't seem so kooky until he got to Michigan.
I know, and he got real weird there.
Real weird. Like when he's at the 49ers, he seemed like a solid dude. You know, like an everyman, just rolling up his sleeves, going to work. You know, made the worst quarterback trade in history. Got rid of it.
See you later. So, who do you got? Who do you got in this?
I'm going to take Michigan.
All right.
Yeah.
But look, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to say it in a shameful way.
I can't stand Michigan, and not because I like Ohio State, because I fucking hate Ohio State as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you feel about Alabama.
Yeah.
And I know that Mikey Raymond James, he's such a huge Michigan.
That's one of our beef fries. He's been on the show. Mike has been on the show as well.
Right.
We'll be texting Mikey Saturday night, just saying, "Hey, bro.
Here we go.
Sorry about your life."
Oh,
yeah, we'll get on that group text.
You think that's what's going to happen?
We'll get on that nasty group text.
Just little shamrocks.
Oh boy, you know I'm going to send him that underpants picture over and over and over again. There's a guy in Drinkin' Bro Sports, Steven Edwards. I'm gonna say his name. Biggest diehard Michigan fan there is. Posts a negative Ohio State thing every single day, and everybody's like, "How do you allow this to happen?" I was like, "I allow it to happen because I love to see someone get shattered, just absolute, their whole hearts and lives shattered opening day." Because here's what happens every year. Somebody loses that Saturday, and within 72 hours of the college football season starting,
it's over.
They have no shot at a national championship, and it's over. And that's going to be Michigan. And I am just waiting for it. I'm sitting on pictures in my phone, the second that game is over,
Calderon, he's a Florida State fan, and when Francois went down, and like it was fucking like at the fourth quarter that
third, he went down to third.
Quarter.
Yeah.
That poor guy,
tears.
I mean, the whole
over.
He had been waiting. They were ranked in the top. I think it was 1 and 2, right?
Yeah. And it was that game was over by halftime anyways. And then to add insult to injury, you lost your fucking superstar.
Did you could call that guy in October on a Saturday and say, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm at the park."
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I'm just.
You're not watching the game?
You're not watching it? I was like, "No, fuck, dude, my everybody sucks." But Chargers, I got the Chargers are on tomorrow. So.
We all have those friends where it's just like, "Yeah, what are you doing, man?" I'm at bounce with my kids. What? Why? That's right. Your team lost opening week. I forgot about that. Yeah, you don't need to. Right. You don't need to watch college football this year. You're good. You're good.
That's so good.
Mississippi State plays Stephen F. Austin. No spread on that. No. Fuck you guys. What's with the SEC and this shit? Alabama's the only team that. Well, no, Auburn did, but Alabama's the 8:00 game. This is in Orlando, Florida. Why? Why? Why?
Orlando,
Florida? Yeah. Is Shamu coming out at halftime? Are they going to try to
What if they just drugged that tank out there and killed him?
Oh, boy. Blackfish style?
Shamu will go through a ring of fire on the 50-yard line.
Spread is 24.5. No Lamar Jackson.
I said that we'll put up 21 points. I don't know if we're going to cover that spread. Although Alabama, for the first time in history, I think last season we actually covered the spread because being an Alabama fan, you never bet on Alabama because they never cover. Traditionally, we would just run the clock out and win with a field goal.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're going to
over under 60.5 in that game.
Fuck, under.
It's crazy, right?
Under.
Seems like a lot of points. I don't know who's the QB up in Louisville these days. They're not even ranked. That's how much Lamar Jackson meant to that team.
Oh,
but
come on, that kid was lights out.
I'll say they cover. I say Bama wins by 28, but it's close. It's a close cover with that one. The other 8:00 game, we got Oregon against Bowling Green. Oregon barely sneaks into the rankings at 24. They're favored by 33 over Bowling Green.
No.
Look, the over-under on that is 74. Whenever an over-under is into the 70s for me, I try to stay away from. The only time in my life I've bet on a over-under of 70 plus was Boise State. And they covered. Boise State covered. It was 73.5 and they won 74-0. And I was in Las Vegas, and it was one of those hip hip hooray! It was absolute chaos. Snow.
We're going to Joe Stone Crab.
That's exactly what we did.
Seafood Tower.
Yeah. 7:30. This one could be a sneaky good game. This one's on Sunday night, which I love. I didn't know that they were doing a Sunday night game.
And I think they're doing
a
Monday night game, too.
Yeah, they are.
It's all weekend long.
Yeah. So the Sunday night game is Miami LSU. And that's an entertaining game for a Sunday night.
Although Miami's going to win that game. There's no LSU. It's just a
That's a Jerry World, by the way. So spread is 3.5. Miami's ranked number 8. LSU's 25. I don't know. I've got to go Miami on this one just because I thought at times last year they looked like a national championship contender until those last two games where they just shit the bed completely, and Mark Richt ended up pulling his quarterback in the fourth quarter to try to get to that Clemson game. I did too, and I thought he was a good coach at Georgia.
Oh, Reverend Rick.
Yeah. They threw him under the bus there. He's at Miami and has brought them back to relevance. LSU is starting Joe Burrow this year. That is the Ohio State transfer. He was going to be our backup quarterback this year. He's familiar.
At least he's familiar with the program.
Yeah,
down there. He's been there since May?
Yeah, another one. Him and Shea Patterson, man. So you're rolling with Joe Burrow. He just got announced the starter 2 days ago. I think Miami wins this game.
Yeah.
And
you think the turnover chain comes back this year?
Yeah.
You think they keep
That's
that
still
thing
going to
going?
be a thing, yeah. And I think they cover the 3.5. I got Miami by 7 in this game.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That'll be a fun Sunday night game. And then last but not least, on Monday nights, we've got Virginia Tech, number 20, against number 19, Florida State. Yeah, they're back. They're back in the rankings this year. They were. Did they even finish with a winning record last year? No. I don't think they did with Francois and those guys gone. The line is FSU by 7.5.
Didn't Florida State lose to NC State?
Oh yeah, it got bad. Real bad last year.
So Francois is back. He's healthy.
Yep.
Who's the coach down at Florida State? Why am I blanking on that?
That's a great question. I don't know. Again, Florida State hasn't been that great in recent years, so. Actually, they won a national title a couple of years ago, but that was a weird team.
And it was a Jameis Winston,
Yeah, I never liked Jameis Winston. I don't like him in the pants. I don't like him in the NFL.
He's not right, and he just doesn't. Remember that ESPN special? He doesn't seem right.
No, there's something off there.
There's something off.
Yeah, when any man walks into a grocery store and steals crab legs and walks out, it's weird. Like why get crab legs from a grocery store? That's a tough one for me. I can never trust a guy like that.
Wasn't he always also? Didn't he also release the lobsters?
I think he did.
Out of the tanks.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not right.
No, he's definitely not right.
Bad shit just follows him everywhere.
He's suspended for the first 3 games of the NFL season
for the Uber thing.
Yeah, he grabbed that woman's pussy. So
3-game suspension. That's suitable.
3. So he got 3 for that.
That's amazing.
And I think he's out of there this year. But this Florida State Virginia Tech game. To me, look, they got Florida State by 7.5. That's a toss-up game for me. It is in Tallahassee, So, look, Tallahassee, if you haven't partied in Tallahassee,
You haven't partied.
boy, it goes off, and especially those games go off. So, is it possible? Yeah, this one's going to be, to me, I think this is going to be a back and forth game the whole way. You can flip a coin on this. I think it's a 7-point game either way. So that half point might trip you up. I would not take FSU plus the minus the 7.5. I can tell you that much right now. And I don't know who wins that game. I think it's close, and I think I could see Florida State winning it with a field goal in the end.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up.
So that one's a rough one to pick. Look, again, Monday night game though, that'll be fun to watch. So
there's football every night.
Thursday,
starting. Did you
Friday,
say tomorrow night? Wednesday,
Saturday?
Night?
No, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Gotcha.
It is an extravaganza.
Football.
Yeah, and look, when you're leading off with the defending national champion UCF team, you're doing it right.
That's a way to kick off the season. Get us all.
Yeah. So tell me, now that we're through the top 25, who's your national champion this year? Mine is I said Clemson. I said Clemson over Ohio State.
I don't know if Bryant can get it done. That quarterback. I don't know. I know they've got the defense. It's hard for me not to pick Alabama as long as
that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, it's like it's just tough when you've got. Here's the thing: if someone had told me in 2008, say right now, 10 years ago, and that was after Saban's first season, and I think he went 7-4, and someone had said, "Look, you guys are going to win 5 national championships in the next 10 years."
Right?
There's no way I would have bought that. So it's really, I guess at this point, it's just tough to bet against that guy.
Okay. Picking Alabama.
I'm going to say Alabama. There's no fucking way we go back to back, but that'd be awesome.
Huh? We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'd love to say Ohio State, but with the controversy and all this shit going on, we have a new offensive coordinator. Our team is loaded. I mean, just absolutely fucking loaded on both sides of the football. I would love to say Ohio State. I just don't know with a new offensive coordinator what this guy's going to bring to the table. Is he the missing piece? I hope so. But that Clemson defense is disgusting. And that is a professional NFL defense they have there. And
you know what they're missing? You know what they're missing this year? They don't have the depth that they had last year. They don't have that depth.
Look, they got to stay healthy. But if they do, good luck against that defense, man. And say a little prayer. Clayne Crawford, appreciate you being on the show.
Buddy, I appreciate you having me.
And thanks for the predicts. And to all you fucking Alabama fans out there.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, roll Tide, you son of a bitch. Don't think that I forgot about you because I didn't.
Listen, we went through some tough years, right? The 3 Mikes, the Shulas, right? The DeBows.
Yeah.
We went through some.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
So now you're enjoying the high life.
The high life.
Enjoy it. You're never going to get me to say roll Tide, but
that's all right. I'll say it, Roll Tide, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.